It's only gonna get crazier. It is only going to get crazier. My gosh, people are nuts. But yes, the original artist for the Slayer series has been accused of using AI for their recent art, and people are going nuts. And even though there has been some proof released, people are still nuts. And my gosh, this is something that's going to happen more and more and more. And granted, it's something that is literally happening on a weekly basis. I'm just not covering it all. But yeah, as we get better AI gets better. The art, the way to distinct it between human done and AI done, that line is blurring more and more. Yes, and even artists are dabbling in using AI. The more this is going on, I think we're going to get to this breaking point where we just don't know what's real anymore. And either laws are going to have to go into effect that prevent people from ever using AI if they're going to sell it as non-AI, or some other system's going to have to come in place. So honestly, even though this happens on a regular basis, I think this particular situation is creating enough question marks that I want to kind of go through this. And yes, additionally, the fact that I really, really love Slayers, and so it's kind of a little bit more near and dear to my heart. But yes, for those that are not aware, Rui Araizumi recently released a new Doujin magazine at Comiket. And very, very quickly, people on Twitter were having a heyday. They're like, oh my gosh, you're using AI. This is obviously AI. Throwing all these accusations at Rui until eventually Rui had to come out and say, look, I'm sorry, no, I did draw this. Here is a video showing me go through all the layers. And they actually opened up their paint program and went through each of the individual layers, showing all the shading, all the way down to the point of the sketches itself. Now, yeah, you can argue that they didn't show everything, but honestly, from my perspective, it showed plenty. Showed the original model, showed the original body sketch, shows the outfit sketch, and then again, jumping into the actual paint points and showing each of the individual shading points that they actually did. Some people aren't even happy with that. Most people, it seems like most of the people that were upset about the whole situation, they either deleted their posts or they made apologies to Rui saying, you know, look, I'm sorry, it just looked like it. Can you tell us if it is or not? So there's still like this, yes, the extremes of one side. I've seen a Reddit post where this person's like literally going, people, don't believe this crap. Don't believe it. You can't believe it. Don't do it. And it's like, dude, move on with your life. Like, just move on with your life. It's fine. It's fine. People are just either like clawing in way over here in the extremes, or they're just kind of, you know, it's in the little area over here where it's like, you know, yeah, I guess, I mean, you showed us that. I apologize, you know, move on with our lives. But I think it does kind of bring up that big question mark of like, yeah, technically, I'm going to play both sides here. Okay, from the vantage point of somebody that just literally wants Rui to admit that they used AI. You see the original art. Yeah, there's certain things about it that are kind of like, eh. One of the arts, which unfortunately they didn't show the layers of, was of Lina sitting on this couch. And yeah, I can argue that her left leg is sort of, it looks like it cuts off oddly. And yeah, the ear looks a little off, which, I mean, a lot of people draw ears differently. It's not a big deal. So yeah, there's a couple things where I'm going to like, yeah, that's a little bit suspicious. And then yes, when you show the layers, it's like, well, yeah, technically you could have taken what the AI gave you, put it into your Photoshop program, and then sketched over the outlines through that layer in the back, and then said, here, you look, it's popping through these. And yeah, you can even make the argument that you should have shown us the video, the recording of you doing it. Because yes, a lot of these software can record your click-by-click process of drawing it, which a lot of people argue just bloats the file size and can make it run slower. Not everybody has like a blitzing computer to make it run really, really smoothly. And yeah, even if you do have a fast computer, at some point it could be too much. From the other vantage point of like a fan or whatever, or somebody that just doesn't see this to be a big deal, it's the question mark of who cares? On one hand, it still looks great. And on the other hand, there's the proof enough. The person said they didn't use AI. They showed you more than they really should have. It does start to beg the question of, is it their responsibility to tell you that it's not AI? Is it their responsibility to give you proof? Like this idea of guilty until proven innocent, where you suddenly have to go, okay, hold on, guys. Let me give you the actual raw files so you can look at it yourself. I'm so sorry. Please don't attack me. here's all the proof, please make me innocent. Where do we draw the line of what is necessity to say this is not AI? Which I think is a very important question that we're going to be having going in the future, and it's going to be more and more prevalent. The idea here is that not that Rui Araizumi used AI, because Rui has, at least they said they were, I don't know if it's a joke, they have used AI in the past. They posted on Twitter showing, hey, look, this is this thing that I'm messing with AI, and her chest size not right. And you could say that's probably a joke. Maybe they were just messing with it, like, hey, what's this thing right here? Click, haha, it made something. But does that mean that they've always used AI ever since then? Is there a possibility that they used AI as to create sort of a template and they drew from there? Because yes, a lot of people for this particular situation, what I think brings up the most red flags is that this isn't Rui's typical art. They are very much so, their art style is very so much so stuck in the 80s and 90s of anime. That's what sold them. But at the same time, that is their style. And to see them break out from that into something that is very, very more modern style, and yes, as many would probably claim, very generic AI, that's where I think a lot of people are raising red flags. It's like, this is something out of their comfort zone. They made a whole magazine based on it. And yes, as I was alluding to earlier, they're selling this. And that's where I think a lot of people are going to be bringing up bigger question marks. This isn't just simply they posted on Twitter and people said, oh my gosh, it's AI. And they go, what, shrug, whatever. This is them selling a magazine. This is them selling merchandise. And so I think that's where, me personally, it'd start to raise bigger flags. If I went to a convention and I see my favorite artist, let's say Ranji Murad is there. I think he's technically still my favorite artist of all time. Ranji Murad is there. And I walk up to his booth and I go, holy crap, thank you so much for the great work you do. And he's like, yeah, I'm selling this new book. And he hands it to me and it doesn't even look like his art style. And it looks a little bit AI. And then he says, yeah, I used AI. I'm not going to buy it. Like, truth be told, if he handed me, Renji Murata himself handed me a book and said, yes, I used AI to make all this art, but it's my art, I'd be like, no, sorry, dude, thanks. Thanks anyways. Can you sign this thing over here instead or something like that? Get a signature, walk on. I think for a lot of people, especially the bigger fans, they're not going to want art that is done by an AI versus the artist they love so much. So I understand that there is a fear that's happening right now. There is a fear going forward that what I'm buying wasn't touched by their pen, it was touched by some AI. And yeah, the question mark does come is how much AI? Are they using AI to paint the layers? Are they using AI to create the entire thing? Are they using AI to produce a sketch? Are they using AI to create the concept and they draw over it? I've done that personally before. I've done it where I've had AI make Spirit-chan for the website, the Otaku Spirits mascot, and I've drawn over it just to kind of, yes, technically get rid of a lot of the stupid flaws in it. But it's a way of kind of manipulating in a way so it sort of fits what I want it to fit, and yes, gets rid of all of the defects. They could be doing that. I have no doubt about that. Feeding the AI their style and then getting something out of it, or feeding the AI, telling the AI to make something and then altering it to match their style. Yes, Rui has a very unique style. And again, it's very much so 80s and 90s anime. The eyes are very tall, they're very almost triangular, their hairstyle is very more spiky in the middle. He has his own unique style. And I think it still shows in the artwork that I've seen for this book. But the question is, how do people know? I think that is a legitimate question. How do people know? And are they owed an explanation? I want to say if it is in regards to something being sold to the consumer, I think they should know. I think there should be some sort of, and it's sad that they have to do this. I fully admit that. It's sad that Rui would have to do this. Some sort of sign, a stamp that says, yes, they physically drew this. No, they didn't use AI. And that can go, unfortunately, it's probably going to go into the future of most everything else. We talked about that a little bit with that manga that was coming out of, I think it was China or Korea, where this artist looked like they ripped things from Mushoku Tensei. And they did admit that they used some AI. And it started to beg the question at that point, are they going to pass laws that say, yes, you have to properly label this stuff, and if you don't, you can be suspect to certain laws. And I think that's honestly going to have to happen because I think there is an element of being honest with your consumers. The consumers should know what they're buying was produced by the hands of the name that's on it and not a robot. Because otherwise, it's all the same as if somebody were to make photocopies of an art and sell it as their own. It's breaking from that element of something of your actual ownership into the realms of the unknown. But yeah, as this whole incident went on, I think the other thing that was kind of interestingly brought up, and it kind of applies to that as well, is yes, somebody asked, hey, are you gonna file a lawsuit? Like, people were falsely claiming against you and criticizing your artwork. Are you gonna get compensation for this? And Rui respond, I've kept record of those who I thought were a little bit terrible. That's pretty much it. Not really saying yeah, but I don't think Rui's gonna do anything. Honestly, I don't, even though this kind of did blow up quite a bit. I don't know Rui well enough. I'm not Rui's friend or anything like that, so I don't know what they're thinking, but I just don't think this is something that they're going to be chasing after. I think most people apologized, they deleted their posts, they made their point. I do think for a lot of cases where you do have some people are continuing this, maybe, because again, this is going to harm him. But at the same time, it's already out there. It's not like anything's going to really change from, filing a lawsuit, and other than to slap people and say, stop talking about me specifically, but it does bring up the question mark. For those folks that go after these witch hunts about AI, could they see repercussions if they're falsely claiming this? I mean, some people have been posting like these analyzers that test your art and see what AI program used it. And it's like, wait, that exists? We're doing that now? Use an AI to tell you if it's AI. Let's trust that, right? Pretty much anything can be done by AI now. What is a program going to tell you? I do acknowledge that a lot of it has to do with certain quirks that most people can notice. Like, for the longest time, it was the fingers. They failed miserably at fingers. And then it came into hair that would sometimes blend into each other or into other objects. And yeah, the list goes on. Shading that's a little bit awkward, that kind of stuff. But yes, I will admit, just my knowledge of Photoshop at least, I can kind of see a lot of the integral details that Rui had put into this art. And you can definitely see with how many layers they're kind of going through. Yeah, this was a step-by-step process, multiple layers involved here. Again, I would argue I kind of wanted to see the one with Lina on the couch. That's the only one out of all the images that I've seen that I'm like, this kind of looks a little weird. And while it still, again, captures Rui's style, the eyes especially, the hair, yeah, you can make an argument, at least for that art, that it looked a little bit off. But I think most people were complaining about the one where she was holding down her skirt. I think it's a play off of Onimai, this idea of gender swap. And yes, I can see where most people are upset about the hand itself, but again, that's a style choice. It's not necessarily always AIs making two thumbs or whatever, but it's weird stuff. It's weird stuff. And like I said, this isn't going anywhere. That's the unfortunate thing. This is only going to get worse. The more and more AI is used, every time a big artist is going to release something, if somebody sees something slightly off, they're going to be on it like a hawk saying, this is AI. How dare you use AI? You're one of them. And it's, again, at some point, there's going to have to be something put into play. Some precedent, some restriction, some sort of symbol that's going to have to indicate, no, we're not doing this. And I think the big corporations, they're able to kind of keep this stuff kind of in check. Granted, I think the corporations are going to be probably the first ones to start using it, if anything. But something has to change, I think, in the end. I honestly do see a lot of people's concern with this situation specifically, because, again, this is something that's way different than what Rui is usually kind of doing. Again, Rui has been kind of stuck in 80s, 90s anime style for a long time. Even till now, you see a lot of their art on their Twitter feed. It's that old style. So this is like a huge departure. Like, this style is a huge departure. So I understand why a lot of people are kind of quickly jumping on this one specifically, but it's sad at the same time that there's a possibility Rui just wanted to break from that style. Okay, here's the modern style. This is what sells now. This old style doesn't sell. People want this style. If I want to sell a Doujin at Comiket, I'm going to have to do this style. I can't rely on my old friends. I can't rely on the old fandom anymore. They don't want that style anymore. It's old. They've seen it so much. So let's try something new. Maybe that's what Rui was doing. One of their posts, they mentioned the idea that I just want to try this Doujin. I want to try these different styles. So why not let them? What is so wrong with that? And that's kind of the sad part is it's that mixture of, I want them to try something new. They've seen the style. Again, they might have used AI to give an idea of what they want to kind of do with and then build off of that. But at the same time, I understand people's concern. I don't want to buy AI. Anyhow, that's that situation. I hope you guys enjoy this video as always. If you did, hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you think of this whole situation. Do you think that it looks like it was AI? Do you care? Do you think people harassing them should face lawsuits? It's a bold claim, honestly, and it's a very harming claim for somebody whose their entire life is based on drawing, and to claim that they are letting a machine do it could be damaging to their career. Additionally, do you think the explanation showing the video was enough? It really does kind of scare me that we're gonna get to that point where every artist, every piece they draw, they're going to have some sort of program to basically record the entire process, which again, they technically do. It's just very bloaty. And it's sad that it's going to get that point, but yes, if you enjoy this content, you want to support it more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel. It means so much to me, and y'all take care.